So imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine you're investing in a company and you find out that the financial statements that you were relying upon to be accurate were totally freaking wrong. And you found out that the gross profit of the company was way lower than you imagined, especially during times of inflation. And the revenue gets restated down $5 million, pretty significant amount of money. And the stock goes up. Welcome to Clown Market, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christopher Belli. I'm a certified CPA accountant. I'm a fake boglehead investor. I'm author of the book, Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon. And we got to talk about everybody that's sad, including myself, about Tattooed Chef being up, at least the last I checked, 5.5%. Okay? Now, I made a video about this yesterday where I talked about what happened with Tattooed Chef. Their financial statements that they previously put out had material misstatements, which means there were falsehoods, there were errors in the financial statements that could have potentially impacted your decision on whether to invest in the company or not. That's basically what a material misstatement is. Now, Tattooed Chef didn't mess up a supplies expense of $100. Their revenue was overstated for the 6 months ended June 30th, 2022 by $5 million. And their gross profit, which is a big issue with this company, was also overstated by $5 million. And their total loss for those 6 months was understated by $4 million. So basically, they had a much bigger loss. They had a much lower gross profit. And then there were some corrections to operating expenses that made for the difference. This is bad, okay? But what people do is they only care about the fluctuations of the stock price. Now, you may look at me and say, oh, you make fun of Tattooed Chef because it went down. Well, yeah, I do, because I know it pisses off Jeremy, and it's just hilarious to see a stock that he bought in the 20s collapse down to $4. It's hilarious. But at the end of the day, the stock price collapsing isn't what I'm making fun of Tattooed Chef about. Not in the slightest. You guys have to understand the difference. So when I see what happened today with Tattooed Chef, I'm picking my nose a lot. I don't know, I got like a booger stuck in there. When I see Tattooed Chef go up 5.5% after this disastrous change to their financials, it's just clownery, okay? At this point, the only explanation is clownery, or maybe shorts are covering, or whatever. Because in no sane person, no reasonable person would look at what happened to the restatement of Tattooed Chef's financials and consider that a bullish sign and buy the freaking stock, okay? That makes absolutely no sense. Why would you buy a company that's already freaking trash and then scoop up more shares because the financial statements were worse than you imagined? It's ridiculous. So don't get all butthurt because the stock went up. And, I'm sure Jeremy will make a video restating financials is actually a good thing because, skews, or something like that. Or he won't make a video at all, he'll just ignore it. Because at the end of the day, Jeremy is focused on short-term price fluctuations. If you watch his videos, he's praying for some kind of October, November, December rally. Because he's been getting hammered so much, all his stocks just go down and down and down. Now, a true long-term investor that had, wasn't a bussy, wouldn't care, okay? You really, if you buy a stock or an index and you have complete faith in it and your thesis doesn't change and the price goes down, it doesn't matter, okay? You should not care. I don't care that VT is down, 25-30% since its highs. VT's been absolutely freaking wrecked. I don't care. I don't care about the price fluctuations of VT. I really don't. And I don't need some kind of end-of-year rally to make me feel better about myself. If VT goes down for the next 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, I don't care. I will continue to dollar cost average into it. Okay? So don't get all butthurt. Don't be sad. Tattooed Chef has massive problems. And I think this next quarterly report is going to be key. I think it's going to be a big deal. Because when I looked at the cash burn of Tattooed Chef and I compared that to the balance sheet, it's not good, okay? They're getting so close to a debt issuance or dilution event, it's not even funny. And when that happens, Tattooed Chef is going to be in trouble, okay? Like, we know they opened that credit line, I believe, for $40 million. I can't imagine what kind of interest they're going to be paying on that. It's going to be crazy. And if they don't want to draw on that, they're going to have to issue shares, which I think is their last option, because I think they know issuing shares, number one, they wouldn't get a lot of money. They would have to issue a ton of money, a ton of shares, because the share price is so low to get a ton of money. They know their stock price would collapse, and it would only buy them time. Only buy them time. Now, look at the inflation report that came out. Like, I haven't read it yet. I think it's like 8.2% year over year or something like that. Inflation is bad, okay? It's not cooling down. And what is the Fed going to keep doing? They're going to keep raising rates until inflation goes down to 2%. That's what they freaking said. I wonder if they even care what happens to the rest of the world. I mean, the dollar gets stronger, all the other currencies are getting weaker. I don't think they care at a certain point, because they need to tamper down on inflation, and they have a goal of 2%. And what's going to happen is, the more inflation there is and the more rates go up, the more Tattooed Chef is going to be absolutely hammered, and the more expensive their debt borrowing is going to be, and the more their stock price is going to go down, because growth stocks with earnings in the future get hammered worse, okay? So, the last thing I want to say, this is not financial advice, but I would consider not shorting Tattooed Chef, okay? I see all these people in my comments say, oh, I bought puts and I made a ton of money. This scenario is a perfect example of, the clownery of buying puts or trading options. Their financials get restated to the downside. They're worse than, they're so trash. I didn't know they could get any trashier. And the stock went up. Like, what? What's going on here? I don't know if it's shorts covering or what, but you would think it's common sense. If your financials get restated, the stock would go down. It didn't, okay? So at the end of the day, this is... I'm just excited for the next quarterly report, because it's going to be a big one. Now, if they somehow start generating positive operating cash flow, and I don't know, they somehow, collect a ton of receivables and their cash balance looks more secure, okay, maybe they can survive for a couple more quarters. But they're on a slow march to doom. And if you think buying the dip now is going to, make you a ton of money, you need to really, really think again, because stocks can literally go to zero. Tattooed Chef, from this price point, could go down 100%. It could go down any percentage, up to 100%. Just because the stock went down doesn't mean it's going to, not go down anymore. So hopefully Jeremy makes a video. I'm sure he'll talk about skews and, who cares about gross profit? Who cares if the stuff you buy is the same price as what you sell it for? That doesn't matter. That's a business, bro. You buy something for $50 and you sell it for $50. Plus you pay a bunch of sales and marketing staff. All right, that's it. Cheers.